Hi everyone, it's me, Queen City Prepper, and welcome back to my channel. So, probably about, I don't know, maybe 3 years ago, when I was still living in that little town, I remember I had this really freaky dream, and it was at nighttime, and it was a city, because there was like a freeway, and then there was like a freeway going over top, and there was like a massive, there's like two highways, one going that way and one coming this way, because I can remember seeing all the tail lights on the one side and all the headlights on the other, and then there was traffic going like above this on this bridge, and just being stuck, and the feeling that everybody's trying to leave all at once from the city and they can't get out, right? And I remember I had that dream. I remember I told my cousin about it. I was like, oh, what a freaky dream. Oh, I'm so glad I don't live in the city. Fast forward like 3 years later, I'm living in a city. So, this video is all about location, especially for, folks that are living in cities and urban environments. Actually, for anybody. But let's say you live in a city or even in a town. It's good to have more than one escape route planned. If you live in a large city, try to have at least 5 that do not rely on strictly the main arteries that feed in and out of your city, because those are going to be the first things that are become congested if there's ever like a mass exodus from your city. So get a map of your city and plot out at least 5 exits that you can use to leave your city that don't rely on the main arteries, because if you think about your rush hour and you times that by 100, that's what it might be like for you. When you got thousands of other people trying to leave the city at the same time as you, everybody will be, for the most part, unprepared, haven't thought things out. They're just going to throw their family and some belongings in the car, and they're going to do what everybody else is going to do. They're going to head to the main streets, to the main arteries, to the main freeways, and they're going to try to leave that way. And you're going to get a ton of people in their vehicles, and the vehicles are going to be moving at a snail's pace. And if there's rioting or looting or whatever, I mean, those people stuck in their vehicles are also going to become very easy targets for mobs, right? So you want to think about that. You want to think about, okay, how can I get out of this city at a moment's notice fairly quickly from my location, from home? If you live right in the heart of the city, I really feel for you. Try to get a mountain bike or something, because bicycles will be able to avoid all the massive traffic jams. You can, weave in and out of traffic that way, whereas cars will be stuck there for however many hours. That's if you have to absolutely leave at a moment's notice. Your city is being evacuated for whatever reason. Another thing to do, I think, is, in addition to getting a map of just your city, get a map of your particular province or your state, and start getting familiar with the gravel roads that surround your city, and know which gravel roads connect to which highways, and know how far you can travel on the gravel road before you come up to the highway. The reason being is that if the traffic is really congested, right, I can imagine that, say, for the first 10 kilometers or so on the highway just outside of town, it's also going to be really congested. There's going to be a lot of traffic, right? So if you could avoid some of that by taking some of the gravel roads, right, and take those back roads and get familiar with them, and maybe drive 10 kilometers out of town on grid roads. It's not going to hurt you. Farmers do it all the time. But know where you're going and know which roads take you up to whatever highway you need to get to, and to get to your second location or whatever. If you got a bug out location somewhere else, all the more power to you. You probably already planned this out. But say you don't. Say you plan on bugging in, but for whatever reason you're being evacuated, so you got nowhere else to go, but you're going to go to Grandma's house. And Grandma lives 2 hours away in some little town or farm, and that's where you're going to go, and make sure you have more than one way to get there. Also, another thing to keep in mind is do a test run of all of your exit plans during the day and at night. Scenery, the terrain, everything looks different at night versus the day, and it's really easy to kind of get lost or confused because everything looks so different, right? Some people, once it turns nighttime, they kind of panic, right? Especially if they're out in the middle of nowhere. So that's why it's really important to do this ahead of time and to go on some practice runs during the day and at night for all of your escape routes and get familiar with those back roads, because it would probably be better for you to take those back roads instead of all those main arteries that are going to be congested and blocked, and you won't be able to get anywhere. This way, yeah, you might have to drive about 10 miles on back roads, but then eventually you're coming up to the highway or whatever, you zigzag and you hit the highway, and then you're on your way to where you got to go. Get familiar with that, because if you aren't, you can be in a whole whack load of trouble. And it's just, it makes sense to be prepared and to plan things out and, go on a test run. Maybe you might find that plan A for route A or whatever, maybe that road is being ripped up and you can't use that. Maybe there's a bunch of construction going on. So, well, okay, now you know. Scrap that one. Now you got 4 other ones you can fall back on. But, do that regularly. That way, and if you got kids and everything, take them with you, because you don't want them getting scared. You gotta load them up and it's nighttime and it's dark, and if you're panicked because you haven't really thought this out and you've never gone on a dry run, and you're gonna go and try to follow these back roads, and now it's like 10 o'clock at night and you're scared, your kids are gonna pick up on that. They're gonna know, okay, something's not right here. Mom or dad's kind of freaked out, and they're tense and they're driving and they're white knuckling it, and so they're gonna get scared, right? So, make it a family trip, make it a picnic, I don't care, but get your family all used to it during the day and at night. And another thing, kids are really smart, and maybe there's a landmark that they see that you really don't notice all the time, or whatever, and they might say, oh wait, Daddy, you missed the turnoff, because there's that red tractor that's always parked in the corner of the field and you got to turn there, or something, right? Maybe there's just something that the kid notices that the parents might just overlook, right? So don't discount the kids either. But yeah, get used to driving on those gravel roads, get familiar with them, where they lead to, how long it takes to get to where you got to go, to which highway you got to connect with or whatever, that you're a safe enough distance away from the city so that it's not congested, that it should be easy to merge right onto the highway, and then just boogie like heck to wherever you gotta go to, kind of thing. So that's just what this video is about. Get a map of your city, plan at least 5 different ways to get out that don't rely on major roadways. Get familiar with the grid roads, the gravel roads that surround your city, that connect to major highways and things like that, because those highways, like I said, the mouth of those highways that come into the city, they're going to be congested. Okay, so if you got to drive 10 kilometers, 10 miles, whatever, on gravel roads to get far enough away from the city that it's safe to be able to merge onto the highway, so be it. Get familiar with those roads during the day and at night. Have those maps in your car and at home. Go on some practice runs, during the day and at night with everybody, so that your kids aren't freaked out and crying and screaming and, because all hell's breaking loose. And they can be also really good little navigators. Sometimes they spot things, or, if you think you're lost, they might, maybe little Johnny might say, well, actually, Dad, we are on the right road. You gotta keep driving till we pass the red barn, and and then you gotta turn after that, or something. Whatever the case might be, don't discount them, because little kids are really good for spotting landmarks, and sometimes we as adults, we kind of just we don't think too much about it, right? Try to pay attention, but I mean, kids are good to have along for stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Get a map. If you live in a city, try to find at least 5 different ways to get out. If you can also have a bicycle with you, that would be great, because if something happens, your car gets swarmed or breaks down or whatever, at least you got some kind of wheels. If you live right in the heart of the city and you think you're going to be able to get out in your car, you probably won't. You'll probably want that 10-speeder, that mountain bike to get you out of here. Get familiar with the back roads, get those maps, go for some test runs during the day and at night for all 5 routes and get very familiar with them. Also consider seasons, like if it's like 40 below January, it's blizzarding, I'm not going to be trying to drive around on a country road. You need to, use common sense too, right? Okay, so that's all I gotta say. So we'll see you guys later. Ciao.